So before we jump into this, I have to say that when I first recorded this, it took me about an hour. And a lot of it was just troubleshooting and waiting for things to install, to be fair. And so I have cut out a lot of a lot of those parts for the sake of and respect for your time. So without further ado, thanks. All right, hey everybody. So we're gonna continue working on the string class, and we're gonna be sort of trying to upgrade our environment and how we do development. So, but first, I want to see if we can maybe refactor this replace subrange, and mainly because it's teetering on, you know, using the standard library versus the just common elements of software development, right? So you have the loop, and we're array shifting off the beginning of the loop, and so in theory, and we're doing it based off of length, and so in theory, we should be able to use array slice, which we've already introduced into this code base. So when you see it 5 times inside the same code base, you should probably go look it up if you don't know what it is. And so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take the left version of this from bisect array, and then what I'm going to end up doing is going to replace subrange. That was Command R, right? So, and instead of left, we're actually going to do right. And so the new right is going to be right, and we're going to go from 0 to length, I believe. Yeah, let's just see if that works. And we're going to run our tests. Oh, 5 failures. All right, so at least our tests are doing their job. So what's going on here? So array shift takes the first element off of an array. If we start at 0, go to length -1. Nope. Interesting. So let's grab one of these that's failing. Yeah, see, it's not... 0 less than length. That should be this. But how about we do this? Let's figure out... All right, let's make sure that our tests pass, and they do. So all we're doing is replacing this loop, because it's our hypothesis, or the experiment that we're running, is that we are going to, basically this loop is doing the same thing that a standard library function already does. So, and I'm going to grab test can replace subrange reversed, and I'm going to filter, and so we only have the 1, and we can see that the expected is hello world as expected. Oh, it's not replacing that. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and var dump right, and just see what the initial right looks like. Yeah, so world, yeah, and this should be what gets returned, but just to make sure, go ahead and var dump both of those. Yeah, see, that's weird. Okay, oh, because it's not actually going to remove it. So what we probably actually need is just that, right? Yeah. Um, so, and this is what was going on, is that my brain was thinking we still had to manipulate and remove some stuff from the right, but instead, what we're doing is we're grabbing from that array wherever we want to, and then it's returning from that point forward. So we actually don't need a starting point. We just needed a point. Well, we don't need to start at 0 of that right array. We need to start at however many pieces we're deleting. We're actually replacing. So yeah, and I mean I've got the line height on this pretty good, so we'll leave it like that. All right. So what I really wanted to do today, though, is again increase the environment and how much feedback we're getting, because these videos are kind of like pair programming or mob programming, but at the same time, there's a lot of delay in the communication. There's going to be yeah, mainly just a lot of delay in the communication. So our tests are there to make sure that we can refactor without breaking things, at least irreparably. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to add something that would be kind of like a code review, right? So this, you know, the tests give us a lot, right? They give us the freedom to refactor without being too afraid. They give us a technical specification of how we intend people to use this code base, and that sort of a thing. But let's try something else that I heard about, and basically what we're looking at is we're going to try to do Phan. Okay, and so what Phan is it's a static analyzer. I've never installed it, so this is talk about not knowing if this is going to work or not. But Phan was created by Rasmus, who was the creator of PHP, and he created it for Etsy, which is the company he works for. And of course, he open source. It's an open source project, and so on and so forth. And the idea is that it's going to do static analysis of the code to see sort of what is the quality of your code. And yeah, I'm just going to stop talking. So beyond saying that it's kind of like a code review, only it's an automated code review. And so all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just hit composer require the dash dash or the hyphen hyphen dev says that it should go into the autoload dev section, or the God, what is that section even called? While it's downloading all the things. Yeah, the require dev instead of the require just straight require, and you can see that Phan is here. Now, the instructions say that vendor bin Phan should work. I haven't done any setup for this, and so I doubt it's going to work, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. So Phan. The PHP AST extension must be loaded in order for Phan to work. Okay. And that's why I have this up. Because remember, I use MAMP Pro and as my PHP environment. And so what you have to do is install it into your PHP environment using instructions and that sort of a thing. And that's what we're about to do. And I'm going to do that through these instructions. All right, so check to make sure that the version is available. So I'm going to go over to PHP, make this version available on the command line. All right, and so that's so that when we type it into here, into the shell terminal, like it's going to be visible. This version of PHP is going to be visible and potentially, hopefully, used. All right, so restart your servers. Save and start. And in theory, Finder, and I'm going to come down to this and sorry, it took me a second to remember the keyboard shortcut. If you hold down Command Shift and then hit period, you can see the hidden files, and that's what the dot in front of it means, in front of the file means. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Applications, right? And so you can see alias PHP goes here, alias pair goes there, alias peckle goes here, and it's all within this MAMP folder. And so basically terminal is now mapped over to that. So this is good. Open terminal, applications, utilities, and enter the following line in the terminal. Hit enter. All right. So I'm actually going to go to the actual terminal. So cd applications. Sorry, I'm used to needing that tilde. All right, utilities. So we're there now. You can see that we're at utilities there. Peckle install. So I'm going to say Peckle install, but instead of MongoDB, because we don't need MongoDB, I'm going to say PHP AST and hit enter. Oh. Peckle is not found. Is that because I have two different profiles, maybe? Restart your servers. A Peckle alias now exists in your profile file. I'll restart the servers just to make sure. Because it does bother me a little bit that the that I've never seen that dot profile before. We already know ours is there. Restart your terminal session. Right, that's what I was looking for. Let's try. Dot profile. Alright, so Peckle. Alright, so basically the dot tilde / dot profile basically just help terminal reload. So it's kind of like restarting Mac or Windows after doing updates. So we have that. Now let's go back to our instructions. Peckle install. So Peckle install. And we're installing PHP AST. Install failed. Great. Install PHP AST Mac OS. See, now everybody uses Homebrew, and I'm not trying to avoid Homebrew for silly reasons. Mainly because the last time I even installed Homebrew, it was a chore and a half. Oh, it's not even PHP AST. See, I thought that was actually the name. Oh. PHP eyes failed. I don't know if that's actually going to matter. Okay, so now that we've got that sorted, folder, go to, that's not going to be for us. Actually, yeah, map bin php lib folder, go to file, edit templates, php, and add extension. We are going to want that. Okay, so all right, so I'm actually going to go to the Finder. I'm not going to go through terminal to get here, so go back to the beginning, applications, map. Is it just straight map? Yep. Bin, PHP, whatever version of PHP we're using, lib, PHP, extensions, that right there, no debug. Can I actually just do that through terminal? So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to create a new file, index.php, make it a PHP file, PHP info, and then I'm going to come over here and update what localhost is pointing to. So it's inside the string folder, the source directory, and we're going to do that. We're going to hit save. It's going to say that I need to restart the servers, or, well, I guess the update makes it so it does it automatically. Very nice. And we are looking for AST, which is not found. Would it be PHP AST? No. Tree, full name. Cursive tree iterator? No. All right, well, let's see what happens if we try to run Phan again. Okay, same thing. Must be loaded in order for Phan to work. See, alternatively, invoke Phan with the CLI option, allow polyfill parser, which is noticeably slower. All right, so sorry, I saw this PHP eyes and thought that might be something. Yeah. Install. Yeah, go away. PHP extension. So this is what we were just looking at. And that did not work. So, well, let's try it from here. Not that it'll make a difference, but I am in a different folder. Peckle install PHP AST, or AST 1.0.1. Oh, because I didn't restart this session. Dot profile. Let's try it again. Use Peckle channel update. Okay, that was a message we missed before, or I missed before. I'll only try to include you in the cool things. I'll try to leave you out of the silly things. Okay. And still error. PHP eyes failed. Let's see if that worked. Nope. Installing. That was the other one we looked at a while ago. Custom. No. Uninstall. Installing. Install AST. Not the pro version. We're on the pro version. So let's see what this person runs into. Edit PHP template. Yep, got that. Restart map. Let's make sure that we've restarted map. Make sure that I've got AST is there. Yeah, they got theirs done pretty quickly. But in theory, if it's there, it should be here. AST. So let's see what they say. Peckle install AST. So maybe let's just try not running a version. See what happens. Nope. All right. Let's see if it's easier this time. Press return. The Xcode command line tools will be installed. That's great. So right now we're just going to go ahead and install Homebrew because I do keep running into it. Download and command it. You would think that I already have those. Because we have Xcode, and I did download like all the extensions ever for it. So Homebrew is installed. Let's go ahead and do brew install auto config. I roll autoconf. So that's doing its thing. And then we're going to export autoconf. Okay, I'm going to trust that it's just that fast. And we're going to restart the servers. I'm going to go ahead and go to localhost. AST is still not found, so I'm a little skeptical. Peckle install AST. Seems like it's doing more than it was before. Looks like we did not get that same error. Yeah, so something different happened. So now let's try vendor bin PHP unit, not PHP unit, vendor bin Phan. Oh, sorry, I get excited when stuff actually starts working, and so let's try restarting the servers again. Let's try going to localhost, finding AST. We have 2 matches, so that's a wonderful sign. And let's do vendor Phan. No. Is it possible that Phan is just trying to use my default PHP? Right? So instead of looking inside of the MAMP PHP, it's looking at the Phan PHP. So let's do this over here. So which PHP, user bin PHP, Mac OS, change which PHP, terminal, bash profile, type I. Alright, I'm not looking forward to using Vim, but I really don't like playing inside the terminal, I'm not going to lie. Type I to edit into enter edit mode. Right, so at the bottom of the screen you see insert. That's what the I does for you. And then hit escape. Type :W, which does save, and then Q should quit out of Vim. Hit enter in terminal run source. Oops. Source home dot bash profile. In terminal type which PHP. Now right now it should be wrong. I mean, and that didn't even work. So we have this bash profile, which wasn't even there before. And where is it? Applications, MAMP, bin, PHP, MAMP, bin, PHP, PHP 731. See, I don't even know if it's using that. Let's try that again. I'm going to quit out of terminal just because I'm feeling like that guy. I'm starting to get frustrated. Okay. So that did work. So now so Mac OS is now pointing to the right PHP, which I should be able to do that here as well. Nope, I have to refresh this session as well. So which PHP? I'm just going to close those. Come back down here. And we're going to say terminus in view. And we're going to try vendor bin Phan one more time. And it still can't see it. It is using the correct PHP version. And we might have to make this a double video just on this one thing. 731. 731. Well, let's do this. Let's invoke it, even though it's noticeably slower. We have a small footprint of code. So let's just go ahead and do allow polyfill parser. Nope, Phan did not parse any files in the project. String, this may be an issue with the Phan config. Well, we don't have a Phan config, so maybe Phan config is the problem all around. So there we go. Let's go back down to getting started in annotating your source code about union types, tutorial, incrementally strengthening analysis, Phan config settings. List a case incentive file, string Phan. Oh, okay. So analyzed file extensions, consistent hashing, file order. So these are sort of all the options, which is good. And we should have getting started, which should be where we are. And creating the config file. So we're going to make a hidden directory called Phan and put config in there. Phan new file config.php. Bring this up here. Sources in this. The following config file will let Phan know that your source is in the source folder, which it is, with some dependency code in the vendor Symfony console directory, that anything under vendor should be parsed but not analyzed. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to save. Let's see what happens when we do that. All right, looks like something's happening. Phan saw an app param annotation for omit empty, but it was not found in the param list of the function split. Yeah, so the reason that I'm kind of laughing is that in the documentation for Phan, it says that basically if it doesn't find anything, you have a rare unicorn code base. In fact, let me try to find the exact verbiage. Come on, unicorn. Oh, it's in here somewhere. Oh, first time. Maybe it's in the actual straight README. Unicorn. Oh, anyway, I read it somewhere, and it basically said if Phan doesn't find anything, you have a unique code base, and so yeah, basically Phan was saying that the one thing that it found was in our function split. Remember, I added some annotations, some docs, a doc block at the top of this, and it basically said that it didn't find omit empty inside of the argument list for the actual declaration. And so, yeah, unextractable annotation for comment. Oh, and it found this unextractable annotation for the comment return type. So basically, all that work to find out that our code's pretty clean, at least according to Phan. And yeah, this video is crazy. I might end up chopping a lot of it. So, yeah. So that's Phan. Basically parses and says, hey, this is where I think your code has gone astray. But it seems like it tells you a pretty good place, or tells you exactly where it is. And I mean, we're not running it with AST, so we're always going to have to do the allow polyfill parser. But at least until we can figure out what is up with AST, and maybe I'll do that offline. But yeah, so that's static code analysis. So it reads your code, looks at it, and says, hey, I noticed this thing. You know, you should probably update your code, which is valid. We should have updated our code, right? Like I should have changed the doc block or something. And so it's nice to have Phan around to basically tell us where we went wrong. Our static code analysis in general. So it just sort of ups our technical game. And anyway, as always, thank you for making the time. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.